And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. It is Wednesday night. I was about to say it's Monday night, but it's clearly Wednesday night, the 20th of April. We are back to discuss a couple of games at the back end of this season. We have clinched the finals. We're back in the finals, man. It's a great feeling. We're definitely going to talk about that.
That's right.
And then, talk Hawks and 36ers games. Our streak's finally over. Just shameful. Terrible team. Can't believe they couldn't win 14. Like, what a disgrace. No takers on that one?
No, it's bound to happen.
No, it was bound to happen, and I think I said actually on last week's pod, I was like, one of these games, I think we can just take a loss, regroup. That whole moniker going into the end of the season was going to just continue to be like 15, 16, 17. It was bound to end at some point. Against Adelaide at home, though, bit of a struggle. We'll talk about that. And then, we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming finals. I had a chance to just do a little bit of monologuing about it last week, but I'll get your thoughts because I'm interested to hear what you think about what's going to happen in this postseason. But as always, we are live right now on Facebook, and you can give us a like and like the page as well, like this video. Get your comments in if you want to talk, ask us questions while we're live. We'll try and read them out as well, answer any questions. Put these up on YouTube if you want to rewatch on YouTube the next day or the day after. Get over there and give us a subscribe on there. And then, if you want to listen to this in audio form, I'll put these up on the Anchor platform, which goes out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, and a few other ones that I've forgotten what they are. I try and remember them every time, but I always forget. Sitting here live. And, give us a subscribe, rating, review. Get us out there. More Kings fans means better things for us and better things for you guys. So definitely get your comments in and let us know what you think about this Kings season, and how the Kings are going in general this season. But first things first, the streak's over, man. Pour one out.
It's it happened in the right game. I think we had a couple of injuries, a couple of key injuries, and this weekend was kind of like a homage to the one weakness of the Kings game, and that is like the pick and roll mid-range float game. We saw it with Tyler Harvey. We saw it with Dusty Hannes.
Hannes, man, I'm telling you, he's like a little dark horse.
Yeah.
In an Adelaide team that absolutely stunk this season.
He didn't play the last game we played Adelaide because he was on the out. But, I mean, he's got that kind of running float game, just like Tyler Harvey kind of does. And there's 20, 25, in Tyler Harvey's case, 30 points right there, and that's the kind of the closeness or the win. Dusty Hannes doesn't play that game. That game is lost. Adelaide can't win it. So that seems to be the only weakness in that set. And it seems to be very well. It was very well executed by both teams. I think that Illawarra are just unlucky that they couldn't quite go the distance. Ian Clark taking over overtime was just
so good.
And it was just a text you was just saying, "Wow, there's a second guy that could do this."
I know.
For half a guy, for the last 4 years, we've had Casper Ware, who's been hit and miss, and now we've got Jalen Adams and Ian Clark. Wow, this is crazy, and it's nice. It's nice to have.
It was amazing, right? That. You just felt so. I personally sitting there felt so comfortable at the end of that game, just going, no, we got some weapons here. Like, it's not over yet. It was that game in general. We'll start talking about that game. If that's a finals preview, man, like that is like, if all the finals games can be that good, then that's going to be one hell of a finals. If we end up playing Illawarra,
man.
But I was super super impressed with how this Kings team were taking punches and just bouncing back, and it was both teams playing at such a high level that you never felt like we were going to just drop. Like, usually we'd drop away over the last couple of years. We'd kind of just drop away in those games. Like, eventually we'd lose the arm wrestle and then drop away. But in this game, we just kept coming back, and they kept coming back, and we kept coming back. And it was such a ding-dong back-and-forth battle. I think I tweeted out, I was like, let's just give both teams half a point. Like, we don't need a loser in this game, man. This game was already, like, one of the best games, I think, of NBL I've seen in some time. I think I didn't want to go straight into it, but I'm going to do it. And Tyler Harvey going 16 of 26 for 35. I look at that performance and go, you know what? I kind of like DJ's 33, 9 of 15, man. Like that performance from him, 6 of 10 from 3 was, I thought, a better performance than Harvey's.
I thought, yeah, Harvey's there was a few fluky chucks in there and a few fluky floaters, whereas DJ's game was just all just, perfection. Really, he played the perfect shooting guard game. You couldn't have asked for anything else. And Tyler Harvey definitely had some chucks. He didn't spray as much from 3, which was smart because he was getting a lot of that mid-range float game. But there was some really chunky floaters as well, like falling, moving, hitting,
leaning, fading, and you're just like, does this guy ever just hit normal shots, man? Does he ever just hit a regular jumper? It's always like 16-foot push shots, running high off glass, like these weird over-the-head hook type things, and you're just like, what is this? So part of me was a little bit like, wow, like if you take away that performance from Tyler Harvey, you look at this Illawarra team in a totally different way, but at the same time, like it is what it is, and that's kind of what Tyler Harvey brings to what is quite an all-around pretty strong Illawarra team if they're playing as well as they played the other night. I thought we did well to nullify Duop Reith sort of like towards the middle and end of that game, which I think made them sort of go more to Tyler Harvey a lot more in that, like, I've just got to like just gun it, keep gunning it and stay with him. And can only hear me clearly. Yeah, your audio is a little bit rough sometimes, so let me just double check. Just give it some.
Maybe that's why. Yep. Testing. Is that why maybe it's turned the wrong way?
No, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Now it should be working. This setup, man. This just haven't been able to get back into it.
Why did we move away from Skype and going back to Discord? It's horrible.
It's the other way. But yeah, you should be able to hear him now. Thanks, Cameron Curtis, for the shout out there. But this team in general, right? Like defensively, Tyler Harvey kept getting into those spots where you look at this Kings team and go, yeah, it is kind of soft there. Like if you nullify like Cooks, like the advantage we have on Cooks, if you nullify that, you kind of look at it and go, yeah. If you nullify Cooks, there is like a slight little some space in there in the at the elbow, a little bit of kind of drive space. You would kind of look at a player like Maker, someone like that, to actually play defense. Like we don't seem to block that many shots in a natural sense. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah,
Cooks is pretty much the only one, right?
Cooks. Yeah, I mean, Maker he's more of a traditional stretch 5, but he's got some rim protection qualities. I think we really haven't seen a lot of Maker against, comparable bigs. But what I was going to say is that, come to finals, I mean, Swakala Bullock is kind of unplayable against Illawarra because his best asset is his defense, and he was just getting rinsed continuously. And he hasn't scored really since round 6, so if he's not producing on the offensive glass and he's getting just completely routed by Harvey, he's kind of unplayable. We need that kind of fifth scorer or at least keep honest fifth scorer in there, like a Glover who can maybe stay with him, be a bit aggressive, and Swakala Bull can come in later. But I kind of see that, and I saw that in Adelaide, getting rinsed by Dusty Hannes, is that getting around that down screen and getting into this kind of stop-start float, where he's straight away defending from behind. It's kind of just game over. And if he's not producing on the offensive end, he doesn't match well up against Tyler Harvey. I think he matches really well against Bryce Cotton. Isn't that push player? He likes to shoot the ball traditionally, and I think Swakala Ball is much better. But I think that is a bad matchup that needs to be rectified in, I think, Sunday's game. Really, if we can see less of Swakala Bullock on Tyler Harvey and more.
It's tough, right? Because who else can we go to really for Tyler Harvey? Like it's Ian Clark, Jalen maybe. Jalen had like a little bit of an off night. Like he got to the line a little bit more defensively. I feel like we're coming off a lot of games in as many days as well. But I think you're right. Right, if Swakala Bullock's not having that defensive night where you can keep him on the floor because of his defense, you don't have to worry about his offense. Then he becomes a minus very quickly. And I think it plays straight into the way we play this kind of downhill collapsible defense where the shots are being blocked because we're funneling him sort of into areas where Cooks can come over on the weak side. It plays into like Jarrell Martin wasn't there against Adelaide, and I think we'll talk about that when we talk about the Adelaide game. But in this game, he got one block, and defensively he was much better in this game. Like I was like, wow, I'm actually seeing some solid defense here from Jarrell, especially with the bigger lineup that they kind of threw. Cleveland didn't get much. Justinian Jessup played quite well, I thought. Froling and Diop Reith, we seemed to handle those guys, but yeah, it was Tyler Harvey getting free, and it was just such a good game. Like. And a great, just like, ooh, if the finals are going to be like this, man, this is going to be an epic ding-dong battle of, if we happen to finish playing Illawarra, maybe if we finish second playing Illawarra in that third spot, man, it's going to be a huge, huge series. And, one I'm looking forward to. But let's talk more about DJ's night. I'm surprised how poor, like, perimeter-wise, they played. Like usually a Gorge team, it's quite perimeter defense heavy, but in this game, man, there was so much just penetration, and then we'd just swing the ball and it'd just be like TJ's just wide open, and you'd be like, why is he wide open? Like, how have you not solved this yet? And it was second quarter, I was thinking, yes, swing DJ's still open, like this is great, and he's knocking down threes, and then he's coming off the dribble and getting to the rim as well. It was just such a good night, and another kind of milestone for him to hit on his way back from injury as well.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a little bit of maturation of these games. He knows in which ways to score now. He was creating off the dribble, which I thought was nice as well. Some good chucks, some crafty chucks, but getting downhill, scoring, and pushing the ball in transition, which was good to see. You can't really fault that night. I mean, he's not going to be, a defensive behemoth. That's fine. But his offensive production is becoming a problem for a lot of teams. Because he's one of those guys that's like, he's open, it's going in. There's not that many guys in the world I think of. Like, I don't think of maybe in this league, maybe Bryce Cotton and maybe DJ.
Cotton,
maybe Chris
Golding, Adams as well is very much like, oh shit, you leave him open and he's going to hit one. DJ, I think, is getting right on the verge of that. Clark, and Hannes, like in that Adelaide game, I was just like, every time he gets the ball, just jumpers, set shots. I was just like, every time he shoots it, that's going down. Jessup was a little bit like that, and Tyler Harvey like really gets set. No, it really gets dimed up for a shot, but when he shoots like crazy jumpers, you just know they're going down as well, which is annoying. Remember that Illawarra team had Emmett Nair? He was on the bench. Wow, 2 years ago they had Emmett Nair in that team playing like huge minutes, racking up assists left and right, crazy. But across the board, I think Clark in overtime, huge. Another just test. I'm glad we passed that test. Like I said the week before, I'm okay. I'd be okay with losing that game. Like, it's a big game coming to the end of the season. Any win here from now is massive as well. Can cement us in the top spot. But a big game like that, I would have been okay with losing off back-to-backs and how many games we're playing. To then go out of that game and play Adelaide without Jarrell Martin, I thought, man, like it showed. Like I was like, wow, like actually you take Jarrell Martin out of that and it's like, ooh, that's actually interesting. I'm not at like, oh my God level yet, but I'm at like, ooh, there was a noticeable difference there.
I was like, oh my God level when Sean Bruce came. He is
poor old Shawnee B.
Jesus.
Yeah, he struggle street, man.
He's not ready for minutes. He really is struggling to fit into this team and the ethos of this team. He's making some very silly plays. I mean, it's his first game back, so it's fine. It's not a huge deal. We're gonna, if we lose that game, but yeah, it's just he's not really fitting this vibe. And Bawali Bales has had a bit of a rough trot after injury with some hilarious out of control running and some silly shots. But he's young. It's okay. Like, you can see the raw talents there. He just needs to be packaged up a little bit and tightened. I think, at the start of the season, he looked really good. I think that injury threw him a bit, and obviously with Ian Clark coming into the team. But I think the big one we missed was Angus Glover. He gets timely threes, man. He does really hit some really interesting, deep, timely threes. And, he's good on the defense. He keeps transition honest. And, Jarrell and Angus off the floor, and you look at the production, and we only have 5 scorers. Clark, Maker, Adams.
Maker is even like
DJ.
if you're relying on him, you're really reaching for some offense.
And Cooks, Jarrell is this like sneaky, just gets 15 or 20 a night without really doing much. It's just kind of funny.
It's another guy. It's another guy that gives space too, right, for the perimeter, and as well as for Cooks to operate. And Cooks is a good find guy around the rim too. Suddenly, I was at this Adelaide game, and you realize how small the court is when you're actually at the game. Like when you watch it on TV, you think, there's heaps of space everywhere. But when you're actually at the game, you're like, wow, this court's actually real small. And I noticed like Cooks a couple of times would be like jump stop, look around, and then you're just like, there's no one there. And I was like, there's no Jarrell cutting, there's no one diving. Maker's probably in a disadvantageous spot around the rim. He can't dump off to him. And then he kind of was dumping out to Adams, who was missing shots. DJ was missed a few shots, cooled off a little bit. And then you kind of get that sense of like, oh yeah, there is that little wrinkle, and it's not just his own actual on-ball Jarrell. It's the space. It's the people that look at him and make sure keep him off the glass or keep him away from getting downhill. That kind of get all these other guys open. And Clark didn't play particularly well. Winey didn't score, so he had two duck eggs in a row. He even looks like did he miss a layup in this game? No, I think he missed a layup in the Illawarra game, but he even looks like he doesn't even want to score it. I'd like to see him just stay aggressive and just like, whatever, I'm going to keep shooting. And then Sean Bruce coming off the bench, like that was a rough 11 minutes, man. It really I like live at the game, you could kind of see like he didn't know where to fit. And it was like, what's happened, Sean? Like, you used to know exactly how to come off the bench and just slot in, keep the play ticking over, keep running the ball. And, in this, it was like, whoa, like, wow, that was rough, man.
Yeah. It is rough. It was rough to watch. It was not a fun game. We also seem to play really well against the top teams, and it's like a really fun game. And then against just riff-raff, like the Breakers, it was just terrible. It's always a terrible game. Just we stoop to their level.
We dropped the level to their level. But this
we kind of do.
This Adelaide team, I don't know. It's this crazy Dusty Hannis 22 points, like that came out of nowhere. I also felt like Jalen Adams can just shoot threes wherever he wants to. Like, and if he's not getting his shot, like a couple of times he'd just walk into a three and hit it, and you'd just be like, oh yeah, like nice, like that came out of nowhere, just walked into a three and shot the three and hit it. But you can tell like that doesn't come often enough in the rhythm and flow of the way we play offense. And it, if he's not making shots and or like making shots for other people, DJ's kind of like, there's no swing action, there's no one to kind of go into the post and go in and out. And then it was very, very stagnant. Yeah. But also like at the end of a huge road trip to come home, finals is secure. You're like, yeah, okay, drop that one. That's all cool. Drop the ball on that one. But
yeah, it's
just looking through this box score. Hannes 22. Detch hit a couple of timely threes, and you're just like, why does Detch always hit like big shots against this, man? It doesn't make any sense. I had to go with like about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I think they just went up by 2 or maybe up to 2 possessions, and I was just like, yeah, this is over. Like, I didn't leave because of that. Like, I had to leave because of my little one, but I knew leaving. I was just like, yeah, this is pretty much over. I don't feel like we're going to win this game. I'm surprised that it ended up only being 8. I thought we were going to just kind of fall away at the end of a huge road trip. But yeah, disappointing. But I think a reset, right? Like, okay, like that get that moniker off the back. Like, you know, it just felt like the more it kept going, it was just like, is it 15? Is it 16? Are they going to win 17 in a row? 18 in a row? Like, it just keeps going and going and going. I like that at least, you know, we've got a couple of games now to go, right, we've got that off our backs. Let's get back to winning ways. But, yeah, it could also go both ways, right? It's a double-edged sword. You know, you've lost one. You've lost the will to kind of keep that streak alive. And suddenly you're like, oh no, like the offense looks a bit ropey, defense is struggling. Tommy V played 10 minutes, did 0 of 1. That's a bit unusual for Tommy. Didn't shoot any threes. You know, that's when you know your offense is a bit stagnant, if Tommy's not shooting any threes. Maker, I think he shot a couple of threes to start the game. I got there about, you know, six minutes to go in the first, and he had 9 points, I think, very early on. But when you're at the game, man, it's amazing. Like you and I have been, and it just looks so slow and methodical and plodding, and the court looks tiny, and it just totally different to watching it on TV, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit, when you can see like the kind of whole aspect of everything, it is slightly different to watching it on TV.
I think the sound system went down too, I believe. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but it was funny because Jalen Adams shooting free throws, and this lone wolf was going MVP, and I was like, yeah, oath. And then like there was this really small MVP chant that went up, and I was like, oh damn, like we should have got right into that, man, because I think, you know, he's a huge case for MVP this season. But yeah, that was good. And then Cooks, you know, about 5 minutes later, Cooks steps up and there's MVP. It was like, yeah, like awesome. But yeah, the sound system went down, so we had to entertain ourselves, and that was fun though. It was good. It was a good day out. It's good to be back in the building.
If you look at the shot rankings, is that Adams had 28 points, 11 to 21. DJ, bad night, 4 of 12, 10 points. Maker, 4 of 9 for 15 is not bad. Cooks, 8 of 12 for 21, but then you really have no scorers after that, so it's kind of like the volume of shots. I mean, we must have done the glass, because that's typically the way this kind of works, right? Is that, you know,
well, 30 of 66,
46 rebounds.
That's 66 shots is pretty low for us, man. Well, maybe not. We had 73 against Illawarra, so we're pretty efficient looking at it that way.
Yeah.
But still, it felt slow. That game felt so slow. And Adelaide too, like,
it looks slow.
I can't believe just McCarron, how passive he is. I cannot believe. I feel like, you know, I don't know anything, but I feel like watching him play, it's just like, man, why did I leave Adelaide? That was so stupid. Why did I do that? Yeah, the money's great, but why did it, like, you know, this team, far out. And he kind of felt like he kind of played like that. DJ, you know, 16 points. He didn't have a great night. Afternoon, night, whatever. And then, yeah, just Dusty Hannes. Every time Dusty Hannes shot, it was like, yep, that's going in. Damn it. He got over here, a little jump stop from the elbow, and yep, that's going down. He drove past 2 guys. Yep, that's going down. Like, damn it. Like, get out of here. But yeah, no, it was good to get that monkey off the back, the lost monkey and the streak monkey. Let's quickly just turn to 3-2-1. Yeah, against Illawarra.
For the
Hundo. Yeah, I already have that penciled in already.
Penciled in. I'm going to give Ian Clark 2.
Clark, boy.
Because I think that just the way you took over that game in the end.
Yep, Clark for 2 for me.
And Cooks 1.
Yeah, Cooks gets 1 for me. And then against Adelaide in a rough one.
There's Jalen Adams for 3.
Yep, Jalen Adams for
Cooks
me.
for 2.
Cooks for 2 for me.
And 1 for Maker.
The Maker for me as well. McCurr. Put that in. All right, that's good to go. And then we'll just quickly do tips. Then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming finals-ish a little bit. Yeah, all right. So the round starts out tomorrow with Taipans are at home to the Kings.
So the Kings.
Phoenix are at home to 36ers.
36ers.
36ers. This is a huge round, man, because there's a lot on the line here. It's pretty close. There's some games here too, man. But there's some games here that it's like tough ones, man. Some tough ones. We got Perth at home to the Hawks, so the Hawks are going over to Adelaide, going over to Perth, and then coming back. Tough one, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think Perth have to win it, man. I think Perth. I'm going to tip Perth.
Yeah, I went Perth.
Perth have to win this. I don't think the Jack Jumpers are going to do anything, but I think Perth have to.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. We'll talk about that. Jack Jumpers are at home to United. Tough game for them to finalise their season.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jack Jumpers.
You go on the burglary. It's just such a... That's got like a... The Jack Jumpers stun United. Anyway, we'll get into it because there's huge ramifications for the end of the season. I went United. Taipans at home to the Bullets.
Taipans.
Taipans? Yeah, I went Taipans as well. A little end of season flurry from the Types. Breakers are at home to the 36ers. You go on Breakers?
Breakers can't buy a win. They just can't.
They just can't. It's bizarre, man. I went 36 as well. And then Kings at home to the Hawks to finish the season. Kings for me. And then Perth finish their season against the Phoenix at home.
Phoenix will steal that one.
Phoenix. Wizard, Tugs. It's a wizard. That's burned into my mind, man, every time I think about that when it's like, Tugs. Pew, pew. Brian Bowen coming out of the game. Every time, man. It kills me. So that rounds out the tips for the season, basically the last round of the season. Let's take a look at this final fixture list because there's some huge ramifications going on here. I've got to bring it up. I've got it here on last week, so I need this week. Obviously, we got to win 2 games to cement. I'm just going to move that over here. We got to win 2 games to cement either second or first. Currently, Perth can't overtake us because we've got... actually, no, they can overtake us just if their quotient's good enough. Yeah, they can. So there's a chance that happens. Illawarra are 1 game back from us, and we play Illawarra, but they also play Perth, so that's huge. The Jack Jumpers have a chance to make 4th against Melbourne, Adelaide. And that's a huge one because Melbourne, if they lose another game, there's a real chance that we can burgle 2 games and get the top spot. Like it's going to be.
We can't get the top spot.
We can't.
We can't.
Yeah, if we win 2, that
percentage we can't.
If we win 2,
the percentage is too great.
Nah, but if we win
you'd
2,
have to win by a fair margin.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm looking at losses. I'm an idiot, absolute idiot. Yeah. This guy. But it'd be great if we could burgle that top spot, but we can't. So
no, we can theoretically. We can.
Yeah, I think. No, I don't think we can, right? Because Melbourne can only lose 1 more game, and if we've got to win 2, and then somehow burgle like 7% points, we've got to win 2 games by 170 points. Come on, we can do it. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. 65 point blowouts both games. But yeah, man, it's a huge week. Like Perth have a puncher's chance to possibly fall out if they lose 2 games. The Jack Jumpers will be sitting there going, man, we just need to win 1 here and hope Perth lose twice. That's huge. Yeah. And then the Hawks, man. The Hawks have a really big chance here to beat, like, the crossover, like the Perth-Hawks crossover here, in that all 3 of those teams, the Jack Jumpers, Perth, and the Hawks, all have a chance to change the destiny of that final seeding. Because if the Hawks win and Perth lose, and then Perth lose again, then they're out and the Jack Jumpers might be in. Like, it's massive. What a huge week to come down. What a huge round to come down to right at the end. And I'm glad that kind of there's some also ran games in there, like the Taipans and the Bullets and the Breakers and the 36ers. It's like, get them out of the way. Get those guys out of the way. Let's get like a finals preview type thing going. I'm glad we're playing Cairns tomorrow. Kansas are just a strange team, man. I saw did they play? Yeah, they played last night. Did they play against Melbourne? I think. And Melbourne just ran so hard, like so fast, and you just could see 40 like just going off his nut. I think it was a ding or something like that. Just how much overcommitting there was, how much really bad defense, and then it was leading to transition points. It was like, man, this Melbourne team, it's going to be a tough team to beat, especially if they're playing
5
like
wins
this.
On the trot.
Super fast.
Yeah, 5 wins on the trot.
But yeah, what are your thoughts? Who do you want to play in this first semi?
We want to play Perth in this first semi. I think Perth is the team to play. I think Perth is the easier matchup. I think that they just struggle against a superior defensive and quick bigs. Because Hodgson is completely useless against small ball. Majock is completely useless against small ball, and then you really are trying to play a powerful game with 2 scorers on their team and 5 scorers on our team. So it's kind of like it's not the right matchup. Our hardest matchup is, and always will continue to be, Illawarra, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even think Melbourne... we haven't played Melbourne for so long as well. That was kind of silly, but we really haven't played Melbourne for a long time, and I think we match up against them. And it would be very interesting to see what happens. We're obviously probably not going to play them in the first round. I'd say that we'll probably play.
Is that Perth?
I think we'll probably play Illawarra because of the for and against. Illawarra has a slightly better for against than Perth. And so you're looking at, even if they lose to us, that sits them on 18, because they've got 2 games, and we will sit on 19. Perth will sit on 17. They're playing Perth, right? So it's kind of like it's also round. But I would prefer to play Perth in the first round.
I think Perth, it's tough though, man. On the flip side of that, they're going to be coming for us, man. If they get us in the semi-final, that's going to be an absolute slugfest grudge match, because they're going to want to avenge that 3-0. Hey?
Yeah, I just don't see them beating us. It's not the right matchup for Perth. Perth needs, a big centre and
they lost. Did they lose Vic Law? I think so. Vic Law's out for these next 2 games. That's huge. I saw him go down, and I was like, "Ooh, that's like, and it looked pretty bad too." Just looking at here, he was in like a little moon boot thing. So yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be back. And now that's a huge, like, if they've lost him, they've lost basically one half of the main part of their offense. I mean, you never kind of go, Perth, we're just easily going to wash Perth out. Like, you're always wary of Bryce Cotton, but at the same time, not having Vic Law there is massive. Like, those other guys need to step up if that's the case. And, if it's I definitely roll the dice with, Blanchfield just bombing away, hoping that he, gets hot. I'd definitely roll the dice with that over, a healthy Vic Law. I still, there's a real chance that, if Illawarra win against Perth, if Illawarra lose against Perth, and then we beat them, there's a huge chance that Perth finishes in that 3rd spot. I think we've got second sewn up. We beat the Taipans, we're so up that 2nd spot, and then just wait to see who out of Perth and the Hawks, grudges it out. And then we also have that second chance to kind of bury the Hawks into that 3rd spot, banish them to the other side of the bracket, which I would be very interesting to see how the team reacts to that kind of thing as well. So, but yeah, man, what an end to the season. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. We lost that game. We've got a couple of things. Jarrell's out with COVID protocols. I hope he's all right. Kind of changes things a little bit. Did I see Glover was coming back? I think I saw Glover was coming back.
Yes, it was just knee soreness. Yeah, it was an over cautiousness with knee soreness.
Yeah. And then for how well Make has developed, I think if there's any issues with Jarrell, he's going to have to step up and have a huge postseason, or like end of the season postseason. That's going to be interesting to see, because I think part of this team has been about like, who can we see that takes a step up and plays really well, and then you get the vibe of like, yeah, like I really enjoyed that guy playing well as the team playing well. Which that was kind of missing last year. There was a lot of guys on that team last year where you're just like, hey, I've had enough of watching this guy. Like, even if they do well, you're like, yeah, but I've had enough, man. Whereas this team's like a lot fresher. There's a lot more impactful young guys, and you actually get a vibe out of this team.
It's more likable. It's a likable team.
Which is, hopefully.
David Ware.
David Ware will always be a man in my heart after that Perth 3. That was pretty sweet. Just erase everything, like trim everything else, and just have that, and just be like, he played for the Kings for about 7.5 seconds, and that was his moment in the NBL. David Ware. Ray Turner, holy moly. Oh man, in that finals where he came out off the bench, it was like, oh, Ray Turner with an injection of scoring. Like, okay, sure. But yeah, I think
6 minutes later.
It was 6 seconds later. Holy moly. Like 2 plays, 2 trips down the court. He was just like, oh, kill me. Like, I'm out. Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, these ones. All right. So we'll leave it there. We'll be back, I think, next week. When does this round finish? Let me just quickly check that while I'm here. This round finishes Sunday. So the potential playoffs, finals, clear this filter. No, I don't want to do that. I want finals. When's the finals going to start? So the finals will probably start through the week, next week. So we'll probably come back Monday and do another season wrap. Then we'll do the big season wrap. Probably after the finals. What do you reckon? After the finals, we bow out.
Yep.
And then you've still got to do
for another year.
You've still got to do your makeup homework for.
Yes. You didn't send me through the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
You got you got homework. What is it? Like a makeup test to do.
Okay.
That's all right. I'll send it to you again.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a heap of games. Whoops.
A picture.
No.
It's because you lost your thing. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's because my Mac died. That sucks, doesn't it? People are going to see me, but it's all right. I'll just move that down. So anyway, you have been watching us on Facebook. If you're here live on Facebook, my Discord's messing up. Won't let me change it, so that's fun. More issues, of course. If you want to listen to us in audio form on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, and the Anchor platform goes out to Spotify and a bunch of other ones, then you can do that. Give us a subscribe, rating, and review. That helps us. And then on YouTube, if you want to watch this in replay, I'll set it to premiere tomorrow. Give us a replay. And as always, we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dive.